Welcome back as we dive into part 2 of our semi-supercar special. In part 1, we completed 3 of our 5 challenges with the Mercedes surprisingly taking an early advantage. In order to let Jordan get behind the wheel of a proper sports car instead of a loud giant phallus, we switched up cars and headed back into town for our final 2 challenges. Join us as we find out which car came out on top. Alright, here we are in the squeaky Mercedes. Woo! Going over some train tracks, a little bumpy. But this Mercedes has one parlor trick, and that is that it sounds amazing. Yes, creaky and cracky and poorly put together this thing feels like. It is just a hoot. When you have the exhaust up all the way, when you've got it on sports exhaust and sports sharp. Man, it's fun. This thing is so obnoxious. It is just absolutely obnoxious. Giant long hood, short deck, loud exhaust, V8 power. What more could you want?
Alright, so driving the C8 Corvette. Greg's been going on and on about the performance of this car, and one thing that is sticking with me right now, the brakes on this car are so grabby compared to that Merc. I'm pretty sure it needs new pads, but I mean, sitting inside of this, it's pretty incredible to me how far GM has come in terms of their interior development. I mean, this is worlds better than any typical Corvette is. So this really feels pretty special, I do have to say. You know, if I'm buying a supercar, I definitely want it to feel like an event, right? This is less of a daily for sure. It's a pretty good pickup too. And the transmission on these is really smooth. I know this is GM's first true attempt at a dual clutch on their own in-house development, and they have knocked it out of the park. I mean, these shifts are very buttery smooth. It's pretty quick to react as well. I would actually say I'm in sport mode right now. Let's swap it down to just regular tour mode, and we'll see what that transmission's like with programming on that. So we're driving around just right now in a city environment, so naturally not exactly a performance setting, but yeah, it's still pretty quick to react, I have to say. I ain't saying it, but I think the transmission, and this is better. Does have one additional gear, and it is a generation newer, so let's go with that. But when the AMG is in manual mode, it is a whole other experience, though. I mean, this cabin is super quiet, which, I don't know, I do kind of miss the noise of the AMG. That aspect of it does really stick with you. I think the sound coming from an engine in any car when it comes to an enthusiast vehicle is important. There is some noise coming through into the cabin. You can hear it, and the engine's right behind me. But it's no snap, crackle, and pop like that AMG.
The suspension in the AMG GT Roadster is, in one word, punishing. It's much more compliant in the Corvette, with the base suspension even. And a lot of folks who have driven the Mag Ride Corvettes say that even in the Mag Ride it's even better, because you can kind of dial it up and down depending on what you're actually doing with the car. This AMG GT Roadster rides kind of like a wagon. This thing, just, you feel every bump in the road. But on the flip side, the chassis feels very, very tight, especially for a car that's had its roof removed. You know that Mercedes definitely took the time to engineer this thing as a roadster from the get-go and made sure that it had the proper structure to give it that, you know, feeling down the road, to make sure that it feels all together. Well, we're sitting here at the stoplight. I do want to talk about the interior of the AMG GT a little bit. The appointments are definitely nice. They're more circa like 2010s. which is a little bit disappointing considering this is a 2019. However, that just kind of speaks to the generation of the vehicle. Materials in here are so-so. A lot of creaky plastics, as we mentioned a few times. A little bit disappointing in that regard, but it is also just a sea of black. They could have done so much more with styling on this interior.
The squircle. Let's talk about the squircle for a moment. Very, very, very controversial thing, but I'm with Greg here. It's not a big deal. It really isn't. It's a non-event. I could see why it would be necessary cutting off that top portion of the circle here, because you're sitting really low in this vehicle, which is nice when you're doing like track day events or just kind of driving on some challenging back roads. You have a much bigger view of the road here versus the AMG. The AMG, you're mostly looking at hood. So to maximize that, I could definitely see cutting off the top of this and making it more square-like. I see where the thinking is coming from here. Steering input's pretty quick to react here, though it's weighted pretty well, I have to say. I like the weight on it.
It goes. It absolutely goes. I mean, this thing pulls hard. It's a very, very fun car. It's so different than the Corvette. The Corvette is like buttoned up and serious, and this thing is just a laugh. You would expect it to be opposite, being German and American, but oh man, this thing is just the comedian. It's the Joker of our twosome here this week, and man, it just is so much fun. This thing is a laugh to drive. It just makes you chuckle every time you hit the gas. Rev it up and hit the pops and bangs. Oh, sounds so good. It's just an absolute joy to drive. It turns so good on the front end. It's got all the grip on the front end. It does not have the grip on the back end, but makes it an absolute laugh to drive. Top liner doesn't seem quite attached where it really should be. It should be a lot tighter, but it's that build quality, baby. It's just like a Dodge Viper, as Jordan said, Stellantis quality. Not the greatest. These seats aren't bad though. They are very, very firm, but they supports it all in the right places, which is kind of nice. This front end just turns. Slow here because this is a pedestrian crossing. We pass here, we can give it a little bit of mustard. I will say it hits you with that fat wall of torque. Jordan told me it makes it about 1900 RPMs. But it kind of just levels off there. Like, I'm sure they reserved all the additional levels beyond this for the hotter versions of the AMG GT, which there are lots of, right? There's the GTS, GTC, and then of course the almighty GTR. And then you got some top versions on that, like the GTR Pro. But nevertheless, I mean, this thing kind of like hits you with that wall kind of right off the bat, and then you sort of just stay there. So you really don't feel that push kind of as you climb up in the RPMs, which is really characteristic of a turbo engine. So it's not a huge surprise, but you know, it's very different from that C8, which pulls real hard all the way up to redline.
So let's talk about your $70,000 that you're spending on a theoretical, let's say, semi-supercar. With this car, you are getting a completely brand new platform. It's a completely brand new vehicle. You're getting an American pushrod V8. Some, you know, argue that that is inferior technology. I don't necessarily see it that way. It's accomplishing things that other brands do with more complicated technology. It's still going to get you around the track just as fast. You're getting a mid-engine, a true mid-engine layout. So, you know, if you're a person who likes to tinker with your toys, it might be a bit more difficult to do. driven these cars all around North Carolina, but there's one other challenge that we have to talk about, because it's undoubtedly true that cars like ours that we've been testing have, well, a certain type of genre of owner. They tend to like golf.
They do. They do tend to like golf. And so we've got a bag of clubs. We're at a little golf course. We're going to find out exactly how many bags these can fit.
Okay, well, there's one problem, though.
We only have one bag.
Well, and there's only one car here that was designed to hold golf clubs.
2 bags.
No one asked.
Deal with it. And I've got 2 trunks.
Okay, just can we get on with the challenge? Enough.
All right. Okay, so here is the challenge.
There's no way that's going to fit. It's crazy. And it
Done.
closes for you.
And it closes for you. Soft
Obnoxious.
close. And there's space for another bag if you're going to put it on it. And guess what? If you need some cooler with some beers,
Oh my God.
you can put it in the front trunk too.
Well,
Corvette handles everything that you need.
It's good to know that your sports car has the utility of a sports utility vehicle too. See? No reason to buy an SUV.
It's all good. It's all good.
All right, well, that was impressive.
Yep.
I'll admit.
Easy peasy for the vet.
I mean,
Front trunk, rear trunk. We got everything you need.
You know, at least...
And
Oh my God.
the convertible top was down and doesn't eat any trunk space.
Well, good news. Neither does mine. And that's a good thing because there's not much of it. But at least they sacrificed the design for something, for
That's
golf
right.
clubs. So there we go. All right,
Yes.
Excellent. So I'm going to try to do the same thing with this beautifully styled rear end that we have here.
Yes, the end of your phallus.
All right. Now, there's no rules about like the golf clubs having to be in the bag, though, right?
Yes, they need to be in the bag.
Come on. As long as it gets transported there, if it all fits in the trunk.
Is it all going to fit in the trunk?
I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. All right. Here goes nothing.
All right.
Let's open this trunk. What? Open!
It works.
Come on!
There
Yes.
it goes. Congratulations.
Oh boy. Okay.
Here we go.
Hold on. Oh, it's so close.
Oh, so close but so far away.
No! Oh, hold on.
Nope.
Oh! No.
Nope.
Well, hold on. If I can get the clubs out and put the bag in, like, I'm gonna.
Where are the
separate-
clubs going to ride?
Here, no. If I can dump them out.
No, you're not dumping down on my golf club.
Come on, man. Get in there.
You can pull the woods out if you want to. Those are the only ones that are long.
It's literally an inch away.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
What if I do it the other way? If I go this way. Maybe there's more room. Oh! Hold on! No! Just one of them! This one is the culprit.
Ah!
Oh! Oh, come on! No! No! Are you kidding me right now?
Oh,
No!
man, just went in to the Corvette without a single issue. No angst, no grief,
No! This
no
is so
potentially
close.
damage to your expensive golf clubs. Yeah.
This is doable. This is doable. This one just has to ride up with me.
Oh, so it's going to ride shotgun?
Yeah, we'll
That's the result?
put it right there. There you go. How about that?
That's a result. I don't know if it's the right one, but it's a result. So Jordan, every club he needs except for his driver in his trunk. The Corvette, all the clubs in the trunk with room to spare.
All right, fair enough. You win this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Corvette 2, Mercedes AMG GT 2. We go to the final round.
Yeah, and that's going to be who's the biggest attention whore.
Yes, and I am bright blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough.
Yes.
I'll just rev the engine the whole time.
We will need to do that.
With the Corvette handily winning the all-important utility challenge over the Flying Gentleman Sausage, we hopped back in the cars and headed downtown on a beautiful weekend afternoon for the final challenge. To see which of our 2 semi-supercars would attract the most attention from passersby, while spying on them and having a cool pint.
Well, it was tough finding a spot, but it looks like we finally got
We got 2 spots where we can enjoy a beer.
That's right.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. It was a successful little road trip. Does look like they're getting some attention.
It is our last challenge. Viewers, we have not filmed a lot of the reactions of people just because we've been driving around, but the Corvette is definitely getting the lion's
Yeah, it
share.
is. So. The color on that car is just ridiculous.
Well, the color and the styling, right? I mean, that my first supercar styling definitely pops with a lot of people. Hopefully this Kia doesn't back into it here.
Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! I'm nervous.
I'm very nervous.
He's stopping. Okay. Why do we have to get so close?
I don't know.
That's why I tried to pull in as deep as I could. And the proportions on that car, on the Vette, speak supercar.
Yes.
I mean, they do.
Oh, they do, 100%. It's just, I mean, you know, the mid-engine layout helps, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's hard to argue with that classic roadster shape. Like, and look how wide and low it looks from here on the AMG GT. She is checking it out. Oh, look, you've got some action.
All up on it.
She likes that ducktail.
Yeah.
She wants it. Oh, but now she's going to the blue. She's going to the blue.
Let's see if she looks at the Corvette the way she did the Mercedes. She is a lady of taste.
She is a lady of taste. She likes good cars, and she's not looking at that Subaru going by, even though it's the same shade of blue as the Corvette.
That's true.
Nope, she is looking at that Corvette. She's like, man, that's a sweet ride. Look how that Kia hit it, guys. Jeez, wow. Please no.
Why do you park so close?
Nope, that guy's checking out too. He did not look at the marks, but he is looking at that Vette. And this camera is also getting the worst side of the Corvette in the back.
Yeah, that's
just not its best angle.
It's not the worst. It can be worse.
It absolutely looks good from here, but it's...
Let's put it this way. There's lots of room for improvement for the mid-cycle refresh.
Do they ever do mid-cycle refreshes? They literally don't. Like the C7 was the same from beginning to end.
That's true.
All they do is introduce new versions of it, right? So you get a Z06, you get the E-Ray. Grand Sport is dead, unfortunately, because that was one of our favorites.
Yeah, that was our favorite. Yeah.
The beautiful mid-child, right?
Right. Yeah.
And it just doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, the Goldilocks version. And it doesn't exist anymore, but doesn't need to, right? Because the base Stingray is so good
already. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and well, I mean, who knows what the upper level performance, the ZR1.
Yep. I know they're making a ZR1 or a Zora, maybe
Zora.
both.
Yeah.
Right. And
well, also, I mean, in terms of mid-cycle refreshes, this is the first time they've really completely redone this car like from the ground up. So maybe they just don't want to invest too much.
They probably don't. So no, they're gonna just invest in.
Yeah.
You know, they made the chassis modular enough to where they can put the batteries in, that they can put front motors in.
Right.
You know, put different engines in the rear, things of that nature. But
we need a bunch of juveniles.
Yeah, I know, that's what we need. We need like a bus full of kids.
Yes. Where's the field trips at?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
a Saturday.
It's a Sunday.
Sunday, that's right. It's all blending into one day.
Huh? Oh, there we go. Oh, she's checking out the Mercedes. Oh, she looked at the Mercedes. She's like, what is that? I think I got one of those in my drawer at home.
Despite both cars seeing a fair bit of attention from the folks enjoying a stroll in downtown Greensboro, I had to admit, Greg's bright blue Corvette certainly attracted more attention than my blend into the background white AMG GT. This gave the Kentucky Fried Supercar the slight 3-2 nod over the Super Sportswagen from Stuttgart. With this, we decided to head back out of town and hit up one of our favorite watering holes to discuss these two outstanding cars and our amazing road trip.
We are here actually at the beautiful Village Beverage here in Summerfield, North Carolina to go over these conclusions.
Yeah, so when you are thinking about spending $70,000, let's think about what these cars bring to the table. I mean, the Corvette's new. It brings a fantastic new design from the ground up, I will say. I got to drive it just before we came here. It is a thoroughly well thought out vehicle. You could tell that a ton of time and attention went to the interior, to the powertrain, to the way it's executed. I mean, it's very responsive. I would actually say that the transmission in your car is more quick to respond than mine.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's an additional iteration along, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, that Tremec box is good, and it's really good when you're shifting it yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, some of the programming doesn't seem that great to me when it's, you know, just kind of trundling on touring mode. Okay. But when you actually start shifting the gears yourself, I mean, it just like laps those shifts off almost as quick as a PDK.
Yeah, it does. That being said, there's not really a ton wrong with the transmission in this car either. It is a bit slower, I would say, in comfort mode, but when you're in manual mode, I think it's just as fast to respond. It is very, very fun, and the paddles on there are great too. Yes. I like the paddles in this.
Oh, the paddles, those paddles feel chintzy.
Yeah, they do.
Right? Yeah. Like I just don't get that because in my ATS-V, they're solid magnesium.
Yeah, maybe you need to step up to the Z06.
Maybe. Who knows? That'll be a future video. Yeah, but another thing that I really kind of took away from it is this car is way more serious. Oh, absolutely.
You know, when you're driving it.
That was the biggest thought I had after getting out of that Mercedes, and it's so confusing because you expect the German to be the buttoned up serious guy and the American to be like the sort of like beer swilling yob, but it's the opposite.
Yeah, it really is.
The Mercedes is the beer drinking hoon. The Corvette is like the buttoned up guy in a suit.
Yeah. I mean, if you were going to a track session, that's your car.
Oh,
I mean, you can sit inside of that car, know exactly where the car is going to be in every corner. You're going to get your best times right off the bat. I mean, there's not a ton of practice that's going to be needed. This is a handful.
A handful, yeah. I mean, you're going to be power oversteering out of every corner once you hit that boost to get on that throttle. Yep. It's going to try and slide around on you. But that said, the front end of that Merc tracks so well.
It does.
It's got, you know, and to your point, it's even got more weight over the back, which is a little bit strange.
Yeah.
You know, when they were going for that 50-50 weight balance. So it's just a hair more in the back, but still, the front end of that Merc turns in so well.
It does. I think the steering, both of these cars, does a great job. I do wish I had a bit more feedback, actually, in both, but I do feel like the Vette's a little bit number to me. But yeah, both of them could use a bit more feedback, but they're both really nicely weighed out. The steering wheel itself is great in both of them.
Yeah, they're both nice, chunky, good steering wheels, you know, and that's just what I love because it just wraps your hands and feels good to go into all those turns. And
I also kind of was thinking as we were driving here, it's a great car. But to me, when I think about a Corvette, I think about the yobbiness. Corvettes are over the top when it comes to their sound, the way they drive. It's a car that you need to tame, right? When you think back to like the C6 and the C7s, specifically like the Z06 models,
right?
You know, they're a car that has a high level of performance, but it's a car that you need to get to know, and you need to find its limits, and you need to tame it. And that's kind of the fun for me in learning about these cars, right? That car's not that.
No,
you're getting the full car right off the bat,
right?
And it's telling you exactly everything that you need to know.
No, it isn't.
You know,
and I'm wondering if this is just them taking that next step at chasing the 911.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair assessment. And so the thought that I had as I was driving, and this might be a bit controversial, but I really think that would be a great platform for something like a Cadillac had they made that fantastic CN concept.
Oh, so beautiful.
Right? I mean, when you think about Cadillac's placement and its heritage, and it has a ton of racing heritage, I think it would be a natural competitor. And this platform it would be fantastic for a Cadillac Contemporary. And
frankly, the E-Ray, right?
Right, yeah.
You get a four-wheel drive Cadillac, electric hybrid. Oh, that would just be perfect.
The way this car drives, the Mercedes, is like another maybe slightly bit more luxurious level of like a C7 Corvette, right?
It's like a C7 with just like a shot of luxury.
Yeah, it's just like it's a completely personality swap here.
Oh, really? And that's just what's so confusing for us after, you know, this weekend. You know, really the thing we were looking for this weekend was like, hey, you can buy both of these for, you know, $75,000-$80,000. Do you want the new option or do you want a used option that is a little bit different?
Right.
They both are different approaches to the same question, which is we're different manufacturers and we want to build that 911 competitor.
Yeah.
Two completely different approaches, front mid-engine, mid-engine.
Front mid-engine. I like how you gave them some credit for that.
You've only been talking about it the last 2 days, so I decided to finally use the terminology.
Seeing the light, the light. Yeah, I mean, I would say like if you're in the market, right, you have that kind of money to put down, if you're a person that's going to the track often,
Yep.
and you're the person who's serious about your times, you are very competitive, you're focused on those types of things. Ironically, it's not the Mercedes, not the German car that I would pick, it's the American.
100%. If you're going to a track day, the Corvette 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
That said, daily driver, I'm conflicted. If you're choosing one of these to be your daily, that Vette is tough to get in and out of.
It really is.
And we're not that old.
No, I mean, no, not. It's got a ton of cargo capacity, that being said, but yeah, getting in and out of that thing is a hassle.
It is a hassle. It's not easy getting in and out. And if you find yourself in a tight spot, like I pulled up next to Jordan at the gas station and I tried to hop out. I was like, nope, I got to back out because I got to swing the door open more. I mean,
Yeah.
That's just how it goes. And like the grunts and groans you make getting in and out, none of that in the Mercedes. None of it.
Yeah, the Mercedes.
And the rearward visibility issues in the Corvette don't have any of those in the Mercedes.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's definitely better.
It's not perfect.
than the
It's
Vette.
more like traditional convertible issues,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, you got the small back window. Okay. Corvette, you have a back window and then a hump.
Yeah. See, in this car, to me, it's like if you're spending that money and you want something to just have fun with on a weekend. I mean, it could make a good daily, but I wouldn't daily this car.
No.
It's a gas hog.
Right. Well, I mean, both of these are definitely weekend cars. I mean, they're second, third cars. Yeah.
So if you're just trying to cruise around and have a blast in terms of the sound and just kind of impress your friends or just feel like a kid.
Look at me, my Mercedes.
Maybe you take the occasional trip to the mountains, or you try to find some fun roads with some friends. That's a great pick. I mean, it's a blast to drive. It really is. But if you're really super focused on your times, you're very competitive.
And both of these excels as GT, frankly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's really hard to choose one over the other.
Yeah.
Seats are definitely more comfortable in the Corvette, but getting in and out of the Corvette is a lot more challenging than getting in or out of the Mercedes.
So if it's your money, $80,000, which one are you picking?
The Corvette.
I have to agree. I have to agree. Yeah. I think a higher spec one of these might have given it.
Maybe. And, frankly, like, if that Corvette sounded like that Mercedes, it'd be game over. Absolutely game over.
Just got to drop in a new exhaust on it.
Or,
I don't know.
just spend more and get the
06.
Get that flat plane crank, which, of course, it still sounds nothing like the Mercedes, but just kind of takes it in a completely different direction.
That's really true. Well, with that fantastic revelation, we hope you enjoyed our semi-supercar showdown.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us on The Driver's Line.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss a thing.